This course is going to be about AWS data engineering and data analytics. I'm Souvik and I'll be representing Visualpath for this entire course of 2.5 months. About me, I have almost 12 years of experience with aviation industries. So I'm also working as an AWS data engineer as well as I have worked on DevSecOps as well. It's been almost 25 projects that I have handled so far, and I'll be presenting gathered knowledge of that. We have a set of lectures, slide, and hands-ons. So it's a mix of them where I'll be presenting and I'll be doing stuffs which I'll be expecting you to replicate in your own workspace. And in this way, we'll be not only sharing the AWS knowledge, also we'll be sharing the real project knowledge of my career or in general in data engineering in mix of DevOps and cloud cost optimization and security. This is almost the eighth batch that I'm taking, and we are improving ourselves with AWS data engineering and the content that we represent. It cannot be static throughout. We are introducing different things into it. Just like within last few months, we have seen boom in model training. We have seen a boom in machine learning coming into data engineering, and tools like AWS SageMaker, Bedrock are getting heavily into it. So as I am also practicing on them and as I am also learning things from my projects, okay, I am indulging them in the courses as well. So for the last two batches, we are including AI and model learning as well in the batches. Few months back, we have introduced IAC as well. So it was Terraform that I have seen that it is coming explicitly to the data engineering world, how they are deploying resources, how they have to know Terraform even for a pure data engineering level up. So these things I'm trying to incorporate in our courses. Okay, it's not a static course, and within this 2.5 months, if I think that there is any certain change that is needed for making you to the market and a complete data engineer, what the interviewers require at this point of time, or what your project would be for you to be a complete data engineer, I'd be taking those points up and I'd be discussing with you guys. So I have done a few certifications on AWS. I've also been working with Microsoft Azure parallelly. So I'm working as a multi-cloud engineer where I have expertise on both AWS and Azure. And throughout the course, whatever AWS services we would be discussing, I'd give you a reference of Microsoft Azure as well because they are pretty similar and pretty much they work parallelly. So I'd be giving you a reference on Microsoft Azure and how it can be done on Azure and what set of tools that we can use here. So I have done these few certifications and I'm also working as a cloud security and cost optimization. These practices I'm doing throughout my journey. I think that whenever we are stepping into cloud, we should be taking security very, very seriously. And also, as in an organization, a full-fledged authority will be in our hand to deploy resources, to use those resources. It's our responsibility to make organizations cost saved. Cost optimization is something that we'll also look into every course, every slide, and every day. That how we can deploy things and work with these things in a most optimized way. And I'm proficient in English, Hindi, and Bengali. I'm from West Bengal, India. Talking about the data booming, why we should choose data engineering. Okay. So it's not last 2 years, it's been a few years now that data engineering is in top tables, and you can do a lot of things with data engineering just by having a kickstart with this tutorial. You will get to know the path of data engineering, and based on the practices or the role you get after that, you can really get into different sectors of data engineering. You can get into different projects where you can help that org with different roles that you can make out of it. We'll be learning a lot of services here. We'll be learning a lot of roles where you can step in. But in actual world, you'd be expertising in some exact profession. So it can be data engineer, it can be a data architect, it can be a data analyst, and you can be a Power BI developer. Then you can be a ML engineer, okay, which is pretty much coming up where ML ops and AI ops, these kind of engineerings are coming up, who are handling data engineering as smoothly as a usual data engineer. These people would know machine learning and AI model training very well. They would have expertise on PySpark, they would have expertise on Python or PyTorch, things like that. And they can handle the complete pipelines, the ETL jobs, and also analytics world very well. These kind of roles are upcoming and they are settling in already into our orgs and into our requirements for people who can do this. So this would be a little important and we would be emphasizing on this pretty much. Not towards the beginning of the course, because in beginning we would be going on with very small steps and we would be working from very scratch. But once we are proficient enough, I'd be trying to incorporate these learnings as well. You can be a data scientist where you have to learn little more with stuffs that you will be learning in next few days. And that is also a world you can explore for better opportunities. Then data quality analyst and DBA are always options for you. What would be your main day-to-day responsibilities as AWS data engineers? Mostly it would be data pipeline development, for what we'll be learning with AWS Glue, Kinesis for streaming data, AWS data pipeline to ensure that the efficient data flow from various sources to data storage. Okay. So first thing data engineer handles, they take the requirements out of the business people. What would be the requirement for this particular data and how they would be managing this data and how much again cost they can perform on this. So that is also a very big thing about, because you would be a full-fledged data engineer. Let's say you are the only one or you are leading a complete team of data engineering people. You need to take these decisions where the most cost optimized way of data engineering is possible. So first of all, learning AWS data engineering has its own responsibilities with it, because here we are going to learn multiple ways of doing the same thing. So let's say you have static data in your data lake and you are going to transform that data in few ways. You are going to add some data qualities in it and you are going to add some PII checks, some security checks in it, and then you are going to shrink that data. Then you are going to load it to a data warehouse. This is your complete job. Now you can do this job in 5 different ways. Okay, you can do this through Glue, you can do this through Redshift Spectrum, you can do this through Athena, and you can do this through step functions. You can add in few Lambda jobs to do this. But what would be the exact way that your business requirements want this to be done? So in that case, as a senior data engineer, you have to show them the path. Or if you are just getting into the process or getting into the whole system as a data engineer, then you have to know that what I am doing and what is the best possible way that I am doing. If someone is telling me to do this differently and I have a better idea, I should be confident enough to pitch that. So that is the main funda here of being part of this course. Okay, you should be knowing the best possible way to do the things. And yeah, coming to the day-to-day activities, this you have to do this all of these things in multiple ways. So data integration you will be doing, data quality assistance you will be doing, database management you will be doing. We are going to learn a lot of different things for that. And for that particular data, what is the best possible thing? For a streaming data, what should we do? For a static data, what should we do? Based on the data size and the quality of data, what should we do? Then you'd be making up different ETL processes. ETL is extract, transform, and load. We are going to learn and do a lot about this. How you'd be collaborating with the data teams. That is very important. So data engineering doesn't come with a single data engineer. There are multiple people involved in it. There would be database people, DBA people involved in it. There would be DevOps involved in it. There would be infrastructure engineers involved in it. There'd be SREs whom you'd be giving your complete application and data flow. They would be deploying things. Okay, they would be maintaining things. Then there would be developers, the full stack developers, who would be integrating their code with your pipeline solutions. So it's collaborating with the team, and you should be knowing what exactly you are handling for this complete project. I'd be giving you some project ideas. Let's say I would be giving you 6 complete project ideas where I would be showing you that what exact part as a data engineer you should be doing, or what exact roles and responsibilities that should be in your department, and you would be responsible for it, and you would be seeing that in and out, that this is my job and this shouldn't fail. And once again, you have to do the cost optimization, security, and the performance optimization along with the things that you are handling. Again, performance tuning, documentation, monitoring, troubleshooting, these things would be your ideas and your part to handle for those particular ideas. So, tools that are there that we would be working with is a lot more than this. Okay, I'd not go with this slide. Few things that we would be learning along with AWS data engineering, okay, and AWS services that I was just talking about, is we are going to have a fair amount of idea on Hadoop, because we are going to work with AWS EMR. Okay, Elastic MapReduce is something that we are going to work with. So for that, we need to learn about Apache Hadoop. Then we are going to work in and out with Glue ETL jobs. So for that, we need to learn Spark. We're going to work with Kafka, and AWS have its own Kafka solution, which is MSK. Okay, managed services for Kafka. We have AWS managed workflow for Airflow, which is Apache Airflow. So we are going to learn that as well. As we are going to work with a lot of building tools. So we are going to work with DBT, Talent, and Informatica for the ETL references that we'll be working with Glue. Not much of Snowflake or BigQuery we are going to work with, but we are going to give references for them. And Azure Data Factory is something that also I'm going to take reference that this is done in Azure Data Factory and this is done in AWS Glue or the complete ETL jobs that we are connecting with databases. Coming to Databricks, we are going to learn Databricks, but there is no particular hands-ons on Databricks, or there's no particular things that we are going to learn in this, because this is completely AWS, and we are going to work with the AWS account, and we're going to clean up our things, and we're going to stay in that AWS account only for the hands-ons. There would be Databricks in learnings, and we would be giving references for that Databricks learnings in our AWS hands-ons that we would be doing. So there's no much Databricks hands-ons that we would be doing. I'm just making that clear. Apart from these things, we are going to learn a few about prompt engineering, which comes under the AI part. We are going to learn about AWS Bedrock. We're going to learn about AWS SageMaker for machine learning tools. And then we are going to learn a little bit about IAC, which is infrastructure as code, how we would be deploying these resources. So these resources you are seeing, we are going to give a lot many references of these resources than this. So this is in general what we would be covering in next 2.5 months. The biggest portion that we would be covering is analytics. And here we are going to learn about Redshift, which is for data warehouse, Genesis for streaming data, AWS Glue for ETL jobs, Kafka for streaming data, which are in bigger size, OpenSearch and QuickSight for analyzing data, Athena to analyze static data, EMR for the Hadoop datasets, and AWS Lake Formation. I would come to that when we would be learning about data lakes. So this is the most talked about portion in data engineering in AWS, and we are going to cover that in our analytics portion, which would be coming in the middle of the course. And after we learn and take hands-ons about few more things, it would be easier that we start with these services. Apart from that, there would be app integration services, there would be cloud financial management services. Okay, we are going to start off with Cost Explorer and budgets, our course from the next day onwards. And then there would be compute, where we'd be learning about Lambda, EC2, batch. I would be taking up some DevSecOps activities as well in this course. It's not going to be purely data engineering, because people are looking for hybrid roles at this moment where they should be knowing a little bit about AI, a little bit about machine learning. Then with data engineering, they should be knowing the basics of data engineering like PySpark. Then there would be ETL jobs, and they would be making those pipelines easy. And then they should know how to deploy things as well. So for that, a little bit of DevSecOps I have been introduced on the container side. So we are going to learn about Docker repositories with Amazon ECR. We're going to learn about how to host those repositories in Amazon Container Services and Amazon Elastic Kubernetes Services, which is Docker hosting and Kubernetes. We're going to learn about multiple databases. I would discuss on that in the database portion, and how we would be integrating these databases with our analytics, which is ETL jobs and Glue. We're going to learn about developer tools. There's a lot more developer tools, and this also comes under the DevSecOps part, where we would be making infrastructure pipelines ready with code build, code commit, and code pipeline. With API gateway, we are going to see how we are hosting an application, because we are going to host few applications that we are deploying, and we are going to use API gateway for that. It's a complete AWS ecosystem that we are going to look into. I am showing you all this because we should be very clear about our roles on a org. And if we don't know all this, then we won't be getting idea about what, because this DevSecOps, data engineering, and your infrastructure engineering goes hands on. They work together, and without the collaboration, it is not possible. So we should have a good idea about what these people also would be doing, and what would be your part in it. Okay. So if you see ECS, ECR, and EKS, it's completely DevSecOps job. But you as a data engineer also have a part in it. I'd be showing only that part, that how you'd be using these many applications for a data engineering perspective. And I would also tell what is not your part. Okay, for machine learning, I have only noted SageMaker, but there would be Bedrock involved in it. So AWS Bedrock would be a part of machine learning and AI activities. We are going to see management and governance with Cloud Formation, CloudTrail, CloudWatch. From these things would be there in every class. CloudTrail and CloudWatch and IAM roles, things like that would be in every demo, in every class, because everything gets tracked by them. So nothing much to worry about management and governance. Okay. And AWS Cloud Formation, we're going to give examples of IAC, which is how to deploy infrastructure with code with AWS Cloud Formation, and I'd be giving you a better view of Cloud Formation along with Terraform. Fine. If the data is in, this was not initially involved in our courses. Okay, management, migration and transfer, but there is a lot of requirements came up while starting the course, while in middle of the course, that topic that we are going to migrate some data from on-prem to our cloud. That's why we have already ingested AWS in our project. We want to migrate our data. So there is a lot more techniques and services available for migrating your data and transferring your data from on-prem. So that is one thing that we'll be covering, which would be mostly about AWS Data Sync and DMS and some other families. Then how to host your data in different networks with VPC learning, with CloudFront learning, and with Route 53. So these things would also be there. Then so security would be part of every single day. We are going to learn about different IAM roles, how to restrict your applications, how to restrict your data, because data handling is very crucial, and you should be knowing in and out about the how a vulnerability attack can be made. We are going to learn about Mackie for PII checks, then to handle secrets, we are going to work with Manager, and KMS for key-based encryption. And once the whole application is hosted, then sealed and web over it for web security. And this is what we are going to start out with our classes. We're going to learn about S3 for data lake and object storage, and then gradually we're going to follow up with other storage options, which is EBS and EFS. And we're going to see how different EC2 instances or different virtual servers can use EBS and EFS to store their data and to handle their data, and a little bit about AWS backup as well. So overall, this would be the complete learning, and these many things what we would be covering in next 2.5 months, and we're going to see them practically through different hands-ons and different projects that we would be making. And along with that, I think I have missed step functions somewhere, but we're going to make complete state machine out of these services with AWS step functions. So step functions would be also there. So we are going to use all of the services together with AWS state machine and step functions and create a workflow out of it. And we're going to make 5 to 6 workflows like that. And I would show you how the complete project works in AWS data engineering. Thank you.